to take you until 11:45. So let's talk legal. All right, Miss Danielle is on. Good morning, Miss Danielle. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I am blessed, Mom.
All right, lovely. Thanks for having us. We'd like to tell all our listeners good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Legal. We're really grateful to be here with you guys yet for another week to bring you legal information and education at its finest. Let's Talk Legal is designed to provide legal, administrative, and other information to members of the public in a way that is simple, effective, and basic for you to benefit from. All right? So Let's Talk Legal brought to you from D.L. Daniel and Associates Limited. We're located at number 1 Taylor Street and Arpita Avenue, right here in Woodbrook. Remember our numbers to call are 769-6410, 769-6410, or 486-7460. Those are the cell numbers. They are also available on WhatsApp, or the office line, 241-3772, 241-3772 for more information pertaining to topics that you may hear right here on Let's Talk Legal. All right, so let's get right into it. Today's Monday, and we are going on part 2 of the topic of lands. And I'm very, very excited about today's topic because I happen to really, really love land law. Last week we had part 1 with Ms. Keisha Peters, and we were discussing the difference between fixtures and chattels in property law. We touched a little bit on RPO versus the old law, and a lot of callers would have brought up the topic of getting approvals, town and country approvals, and understanding the uses of land and the categories they fall in Trinidad and Tobago. So with saying that, with no further ado, let me introduce you to one of our associates right here at the firm, Mr. Pierre McLean, who is here with us to have a discussion. Good morning, Mr. McLean.
Good morning, Ms. Danielle. How are you this morning?
I'm fine. Welcome to Let's Talk Legal.
Thank you.
This is your first time with us.
Yes, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you. I'm really excited. So, Mr. McLean, can you tell us a little bit more about, what you do? What is your expertise? Mr. McLean is the in-house real estate agent and specialist at D.L. Daniel, but he also has some other things. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Ms. Daniel. So I've been in real estate for the past 7 years or so, and now we're branching off into development because there's a huge demand in Trinidad for real estate development. Persons are looking first-time homeowners. So that's the field we're really focusing now and beyond. So that's our space. So we've started in real estate sales, and now we've moved on into real estate development.
Excellent. And I've had the wonderful pleasure and opportunity our firm to facilitate the legal aspects and the legal needs of these things. So let's get right into that discussion on that topic. The real life of real estate, right, and the real business of it. Oftentimes, Mr. McLean, correct me if I'm wrong, we have real estate sales and we have development. So maybe to go right over into the development side, there was a caller last week who raised the topic of many lands in Tobago being sold and being developed, let's say buildings, etc., on these lands, but they are not approved for residential purposes. They are or commercial purposes. They are really agricultural. Have you encountered that happening in the past?
Yes, that is a big challenge we face in the country, and the lawmakers are working very hard to regularize this real estate system because it can be quite ad hoc in Trinidad,
right?
As many things are. So we're trying to bring some semblance of decency to the real estate market in Trinidad currently, and you have a lot of persons selling undeveloped lands and property, but you really go at your own risk,
right?
Because you find that you may be able to purchase, but when time to sell,
right?
Can you find a cash buyer?
Right.
Can you transfer your property legally, properly? So those are some of the concerns that come up.
Let's talk about that because I think that's really important. You said that, okay, so we know in Trinidad and Tobago, unapproved lands, literally we see advertisements for these things. They say it's this price because it's unapproved, and people are okay with that. When we say unapproved lands, callers, we mean lands for agricultural purposes, right? Being sold because they have not received town and country approval for residential or commercial purposes. You're saying that when you purchase that, you get a nice, deal, etc. When you are to, let's say, flip that, what are some of the problems the purchaser may encounter with that?
Right. So you'll have problems getting a mortgage from the bank. So a bankable property is one that has all approvals.
Right.
So you may be able to buy, you may purchase the land very cheap, you may be able to build a house cash, but you may find out in 5 to 10 years you want to sell to now get the equity, or you want to mortgage that property.
Right.
Here's where now you may have a concern.
Right.
Because the banks may not be willing to finance if it's unapproved.
Right. In law, when we have a land transaction, we often ask the vendor, the person selling, is your land of good and marketable title?
Correct.
So good title means, okay, we can prove that the vendor, the person selling the land, actually has the right to sell it, or some sort of title document. But marketable title, I think that's where you come in. Yes. Is this title marketable? And you would have explained really beautifully there in terms of getting making it equitable after the purchase.
Yes.
It's resale value.
Correct.
Right. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, there are 3 categories of land in Trinidad and Tobago legally, as well as what is recognized by Tongue and Country. And this information is literally online. People, you can get this. We have commercial lands, residential lands, and we have agricultural lands. Now, Tongue and Country division, right? They require that any material change made on a land must receive their approval.
Correct.
Right? What are some of those material changes as a real estate developer and agent you've recognized that a lot of times clients may want to do with their land? What is a very popular?
So many persons would have inherited their estate from parents, grandparents, and so forth. And they may have had agricultural lands going back to the days of maybe the indentured laborers come down. And now the grandchildren, the descendants, they want to realize something from these lands that were held on.
They want to build.
They want to develop. They want to build. They want to sell. And it's important in that process that they seek the proper regulatory approval. Because going outside of the system can prove to be very, very challenging going forward. Not only for you, but the person you're selling to. So things like, and this is why sometimes we have problems in the country with flooding and other concerns.
Right.
Because Trinidad and Tobago has some very stringent and very appropriate laws and regulations for land use in the country to protect us from ourselves.
Correct.
From flooding and other concerns with proper drainage and so forth.
Correct. So, all right, that's wonderful. Now, from me, and this is how our interaction so far has been at the firm. We've had a number of clients coming and wanting to subdivide their lands, right? Subdivision is a very frequent request for lands that persons may inherit. My grandparents or so would have had 10 acres of land or 1 acre, and I want to make it into 8 lots. I want to live on one, I want to sell separate.
Yeah.
But you cannot do that with certain, you can't do it with agricultural lands. Right?
Sure.
In order, so one of the things I want to speak on legally is you would have mentioned why permission is important in terms of Tongue and Country protects us from ourselves. They control the civil engineering, right, of the country, because if anybody build wherever they want, or whatever types of lands, flooding, etc. happen.
Yeah.
In terms of the law, so we are directly reading from Tongue and Country and their regulations. These are some of the things that you need to do in order to, before you, let's reiterate this, prior to commencing any form of land development, you are required to get planning permission in order to do these things. Building operations, erecting a new building, structural addition, alteration or renovation. 2, engineering. 3, mining, any quarrying, oil drilling, etc. 4, and very important, the subdivision of land, which is to create smaller portions or parcels for the purpose of sale, lease, gift, or transfer. And that's what we were talking about just now. You know, oftentimes person would like to subdivide their lands in order to sell it and give each purchaser their own separate title deed. But that's difficult to do if you haven't received the approvals. Correct. All right. So let's go now in terms of more real estate. What is your opinion right now in terms of the real estate atmosphere in Trinidad and Tobago, especially in COVID? And what are some things that both vendors and purchasers should be mindful of in these times?
So the real estate market has become very, very active over the past few years, both on the agent side and on the vendor as well as the purchaser side. Because you find in the lockdown, a lot of businessmen, their businesses had to be closed, so they're looking for another means of making a turnover.
Right.
You know, so that has become very active. But what as agents we found is many properties, when you receive them to put them on the market, they do not have good and clear marketable titles. And a rule of thumb for us as agents, when a property has gone through the bank, you know that the documents are clean. They're ready to go. Because the bank, of course, they dot their I's and they cross their T's.
Yes.
But outside of that arrangement, oh boy, it can become quite a travesty.
Yes. And that's what I wanted to highlight today, really, because I have seen it time and time again. Many members of the public not understanding the pitfalls, many popular pitfalls that can happen with land transactions in the country right now. The importance of sound and marketable title, the importance of proper searches and due diligence. What is the responsibility of each of the parties in a land transaction? Responsibility of the purchaser, the responsibility of the vendor, and the responsibility of the mortgager in case of the bank or any financial institution. Now, we want to remind our listeners as well that Mr. McLean would have spoken of good and marketable title. Now, outside of the bank arena, how can someone obtain, these things for themselves? If let's say they're not going to the bank for their searches, they don't want or they don't need financial assistance through the banks. What would you recommend?
Well, I'll definitely recommend you come into Deal Daniel.
Yeah.
Because you see, you need some professional advice.
Yes.
To really make wise decisions. If you have an heirloom, you treat it as such.
Right.
And property is a very valuable asset. It's probably the most valuable asset anyone can have.
Correct.
Today. So it's important to treat it with the care it deserves.
Right.
So come in, have a property checkup.
Yes.
Let your attorney, and that is not a very, very expensive exercise. Just somebody who could go through the cases with you and ensure all your documents in order.
Yes.
So should there be any unforeseen occurrence,
right,
you can sell, you can mortgage, you can
use the property.
Exactly.
Now, some of the things that happen when you don't do your due diligence and you get into a transaction, you may be able, and have you seen it? Have you seen persons reach a certain point in a transaction and they can't go forward anymore?
Yes. And it could be quite distressing because, imagine expecting to sell your property for a couple million, a person makes a down payment, you wait 3 to 6 months, 90 days or more, and then only to realize that the transaction can't be closed.
Right.
Because of
their encumbrances.
On the property. That can be very distressing.
Yes. So it's really important to understand, to do your due diligence, to understand the requirements, in order for you to do a proper land transaction and to engage the professionals required. Development has always been, something intriguing to me because it's basically doing land transaction on a larger scale, really. And there are a lot of persons out there, Mr. McLean, professing to be developers, having some great ideas and some having great ambition. what are some things you would tell first-time homeowners to look out for and to consider when they're engaging in business with a developer? What is some experience that should happen?
Yeah, good question, Ms. Daniel. Just recently, I was looking at a program on the television where some purchasers, prospective purchasers, they made down payments.
Right.
And
that's a popular thing. You know, it's a silly thing. It's down payment.
Yes.
Right.
It's cheaper when you're coming early.
Right.
But they
nothing developed yet. This is just dreams.
Yes,
this is just
promises.
Promises.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And they found left hanging in the balance because nothing was materialized. They can't find the people who started the project and so forth.
Wow.
So and that underscores the importance of dealing with a reputable attorney or legal advisor to ensure that they safeguard you, ensure that your money is in escrow.
Right.
So you don't lose your hard-earned down payment.
Yes, and that's a very critical and crucial part, because I feel as if sometimes land transactions are treated as simply just business, and only when things go south do people remember the legal implications of a land transaction. There's the contractual part of it, and there's also the material part of it in terms of the title and the registration of the transaction itself that needs to be accounted for. And you need to ensure that the company, if you're going through a real estate agency, etc., has competent, land law assistance and advisory. So this is where we want to invite our callers to call us and ask any questions. I wanted to just mention real quickly, remember that it's Section 28 of the Town and Country Planning Act that governs some of what we were talking about today. And they would, that act states that, and I quote, the carrying out of works for the maintenance, improvement, or other alteration of any building is not deemed to be involve development, provided that the works affect only the interior of the building or do not materially affect the external appearance of the building. And that is in terms of, what you need permissions for. So if you're making alterations to your building to change your windows, you don't need permission for that. Yeah? Any aesthetically pleasing stuff needed, no permission needed. However, if you are making any material changes to a structure, land or buildings that is going to affect the actual property, and it is highlighted in the act what is considered that, right, you require the proper permissions and approvals from this department. So we invite now our callers, call in and engage with Mr. McLean and myself. Tell us what are your thoughts, and we'll be able to take some quick questions. Remember the numbers to call, the office line 241-3772, 241-3772, or our cell number 769-6410, available after the program. Please call us. Remember to call us after the program. This is ideal. 769-6410 or 486-7460, 486-7460. Do we have any callers on the line right now?
No, not as yet. The numbers to call are 342-0081, 342-0081, 771-1791, and 466-5391. Those are the numbers you can call to speak to Ms. Danielle right now. So if you wish, you can call now on 342-0081 and 466-5391.
All right. So we wait for our callers to ask any questions. Remember, we will not be able to give any legal advice while on air, but we can answer some legal administrative questions in terms of what you would like to hear. I'm trying to read as well now our Facebook page and now some of our content or comments, right? We're just getting a lot of blessings and a lot of mornings. We're happy for that. Remember, you can ask us questions. We are here for that purpose. We are here to provide you guys with any information that you may need, any question you may have in relation to this topic. So this is part 2 of Property and Land Law, and I'm here joined with Mr. Player McLean, our in-house real estate agent and managing director of GDP Real Estate. Mr. McLean, as we wait on our callers, anything else you wanted to add in terms of information for our listeners?
Yes, so we'll be running some real estate courses here at Daniel, which would prove very, very helpful, ranging from...
All right, we have a caller.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yes, let's take our caller.
Hello, good morning. Hello, caller. Hold on. This one. Hello, good morning, caller. Okay, caller, you hearing me? I understand. All right. Just hold on.
You still in lost? You haven't lost it?
Hello, good morning. Caller? Okay. I think this caller having some problems. Hello, good morning.
All right. So by the time we wait for our technical things to sort out, you just mentioned, Mr. McLean, that we do have courses
Yes.
that we're going to be offering now until the end of the year.
Correct.
Very brief courses.
Yes.
Simple, basic, and can help persons understand some basic stuff about real estate.
Yes.
The real estate market.
The real estate market. Yes.
Why do you think that might be beneficial for purchasers and vendors alike? Purchasers and vendors. Mm-hmm.
Well, as mentioned, the real estate market is a huge one. It's important that person understand the dynamics of that market, especially in the environment we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, I think we have the caller online.
Hi, caller.
Hello.
Welcome to the program. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Legal.
Caller, go ahead.
Hi, caller. Go ahead. You can speak.
Caller, go ahead, please. Just go ahead and make your contribution.
Good morning, to everybody. I wanted to find out something. If you had an executress for a property for years ago, right? If you have a number of years past, right? Can you hear me good?
Yes, we are, caller.
Hello?
Continue.
Caller, go ahead and make your contribution, please.
I could just for a property for a number of years. And what had happened is that there's about 3 properties, and the will didn't really probate properly. And then the person went on to try to sell one of the properties, right? And the person paid on, and years passed, and it couldn't finalize because it didn't, it didn't probate or anything. What is the situation with that? Let's know.
Thank you, caller.
How you deal with that?
So much. All right. Yeah. So that is a probate question. Today we are discussing land law as it relates to conveyancing, etc. And you can always call the number for the firm, 241 3772, 241 3772, and give us some more information on that question if it is indeed a real issue that you're having, to be able to give you advice on that. But that's a probate question. Today we're leading with land law and the requirements administratively for a land transaction. That is a buying, selling, gifting, mortgaging, and these sorts of transaction of land. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, caller, I did hear your question. It's a probate question. You can call us off air to speak a little bit more about that after the program. Number to call will be 769-6410, 769-6410, or 241-3772. 241-3772. Remember, callers, that you can remember, listeners, sorry about that. You can also get us on our new website, dldaniel.com. That's D as in dog, L as in ladder, Daniel, DANIEL.com. dldaniel.com. Visit our new website, and you can leave your question, comments, and concerns right there, and someone will contact you. So use the contact us page on our website to engage with us. All right? So we continue again on the topic of land law for those of you now engaging with us. Mr. McLean, have you seen persons attempt to do transactions with the land using cadastral sheets as a title document?
Yes. Some persons may confuse the cadastral sheet with a legal document that they can transact. But of course, a cadastral sheet It just determines basically the boundaries,
Right.
and then the fact that the land was approved by Lands and Surveys and Town and Country Corporation for approval purposes.
Right. So a cadastral sheet is not a title document.
No, a title document has words.
Right. I like that. I'm going to start telling clients that a title document has words. Right? A cadastral sheet has drawings. Some
Yes.
words to us are primarily a drawing. Yes, so a cadastral sheet cannot be used as a title document. You need to have, as Mr. McLean would have stated, a land title document, deed, or under the RPO systems, we have certificate of titles and transfers, etc. All right, so a cadastral sheet is created to accompany a title document. It has to also be registered, etc. But it does not prove title. So please, we want persons to remember that. Ask for your title and do your proper title searches. As again, we welcome you if you have any land or property transaction questions.
All right, I think we have a voice note. All right.
Voice note, go ahead.
Hi, blessed good morning. This is Amy from Couva. Want to send love to my two beautiful daughters.
No, sorry. All right. I thought there was a question.
All right. Okay, all right. Yeah, so again, I want to remind our listeners, if you have any questions, queries, concerns in relation to land transaction matters, and that is to say conveyancing. All these things fall under conveyancing, requirements for conveyancing. Remember that we are not advertising conveyancing services at all. What we are really providing today is information in terms of the legal administrative requirements for these types of transactions. And you can choose any attorney at law that you would desire to do these things, but it's very important to understand the administrative requirements for getting transfers done. And Mr. McLean with me here, the managing director of GDP. Yes, which is a real estate agency. If someone has a really good sale and they're ready to sell and all these things, but they do not have good unmarketable title, what can happen?
So the person may make the down payment, and of course, if the property doesn't have the requisite approvals,
yes,
the property has to be transferred cash, and that could be very problematic because think of it, you buy a car, and then 5 days later you realize the engine is not working properly. How would you feel?
Right.
Now we're talking about 5-10 times the value of a car.
Right.
So I mean, you can imagine the position, the distress, and
yes. So these things, sometimes we want to do things, quickly and affordably, but then it ends up, costing us way more in the end. You don't want to be penny wise and pound foolish in the event. All right. So we want to remind our listeners again that this morning topic, it was part 2 of our land law information segment, where we would have been discussing understanding the difference in terms of land use and land usage. We would have reminded our listeners to recap a bit. What are the requirements, different types of lands in Tobago, and they fall under residential, commercial, and agricultural lands. It's important that you know what type or what use are your lands approved for, and then get the relevant and necessary approvals in order to move forward. Right? So, Mr. McLean, it really was a pleasure having you here. Do we have a caller?
No, not as yet.
Okay, good. Right, making sure. Right, lovely. So it was really, I was happy to have you. I enjoyed today's discussion. I'm hoping that our listeners as well enjoyed it. Any closing comments that you would have before we finish with the program?
Yes, Mrs. Daniel, I want to thank you so very much for having me on the program. Certainly happy that we could answer any questions the public has with regard to this. And we just want to reiterate that we'll be running some real estate courses. Many persons are concerned about property tax. How will that affect them and their estate? Then local real estate sales, real estate developments, foreign real estate, U.S. real estate, the market over there is very hot. How can I from Trinidad get involved? We have a shortage in U.S. dollars. We have the answer for you. So GDP Investors Real Estate, in collaboration with DL Daniel, we can assist you with these courses. So we'll be running courses from the 27th of November. Contact us, reach out to us to get signed up for these real estate classes.
Great. Sounds like a plan. Thanks so much for being here, Mr. McLean, and we're hoping that our listeners were able to benefit from today's program, and they can remember, of course, that we will have a rerun of these on our page. We will post today's podcast of our voices, really. And that they can listen to the information again. Remember as well, if you have any comments, queries, questions, or concerns, feel free to reach out to us. We have our brand new website, dldaniel.com. You can get more information on dldaniel.com, or call us right now after the program, 769-6410, 769-6410, or 241-3772, 241-3772. And this has been your program, Let's Talk Legal, Democratizing Law. We're coming to you live from DL Daniel and Associates Limited, legal administrative consultancy firm located at number 1 Taylor Street and Arabita Avenue in Woodbrook, which is in Port of Spain. Listeners, I know I have a lot of San Fernando callers who are Port Tobago. We are located in Port of Spain for now, but we can facilitate service all over the country nationwide. All right, Mr. McLean, it was a pleasure,
Thank you so much, Nathaniel.
I'm hoping to have you again soon on one of our programs again.
Yes, it would be a pleasure.
Where we can expand and talk a little bit more about these topics.
Sure, sounds great.
All right, so callers, have a fantastic day. It's Monday, full week ahead. Call us after the program now. Our lines are open. 769-6410, 769-6410, or 241-3772, 241-3772. Have a great day, and thanks for joining Let's Talk Legal.
Well, you just heard it, Trinidad and Tobago. Let's Talk Legal with Miss Danielle. You can join them here every Monday from 11:45, 11:15, sorry, to 11:45. What am I saying? 11:15 to 11:45. Sorry about that. And every Thursday from 10:05. So stay right here with me. Coming up next is the news with Miss Vanessa Thomas.
go true. Yes, they laugh. They call me names, but they just don't get it. Hold them, see me, I hold my head up just the same. When them see me, them just keep on talking. Me not see them, I just keep on walking. I got my pride. Me not gonna show my bad side. Some of them see me as a big pushover. Left me for dead and think I'm gonna kill over. Oh no, not I. I will survive. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them take away your liberty. Live your life and be free. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them lead you astray. Starting today, live your life and live it your way. When you go through heartache, when you feel in pain, when you end up in a desert, and I wonder why the hell it not rain. When them pass them judgments, and every word left a stain. When them talk up the things them just will mash up your life and give you bad name. Them think you're weak, but I never them blunder. Bad mind and think them left your business asunder. Don't give them that power. Show them you can be stronger. Just take up yourself and make the whole of them wonder. How you get up when them a try keep you under. Don't believe their lies. Show them that you will rise. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them take away your liberty. Live your life and be free. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them lead you astray. Starting today, live your life your way. I say, people talk, that's what they do, but they don't understand. Oh, me still I push and go through. Yes, they laugh. Some call me names, but they just don't get it. Oh, them see me, I hold my head up just the same. Some of them see me as a big pushover. Let me fit dead and think I'm gonna kill over. Oh no, not I. I will survive. Never let them get you down. Never let them see you frown. Never let them take away your
9 FM. Simpsons Memorial Limited, number 63 Eastern Main Road, Laventille. Internationally accredited funeral directors and embalmers. A full-service funeral home serving families of Trinidad and Tobago and internationally since 1945. At Simpsons Memorial Limited, we serve with dignity in assisting families and honoring the memory of their loved ones. Our services include professional funeral and pre-planning, burials and cremation, custom-built and imported caskets, coffins and cremation trays, cemetery management, limousines, mourners cars, grief counseling, web streaming of funerals, fully air-conditioned chapel with live musical accompaniment, full global shipping and receiving of loved ones. We specialize in facial restorations. Call us anytime, day or night, at 623-8688. That number again is 623-8688. Simpsons Memorial Limited. Superior service, always with excellence.
Take me to the king. I don't have much to bring.
Looking for a safe and relaxed professional massage therapist and nutritionist? Look no further. Nature's Touch with Empress Judy and Associates offers a natural approach to better health. Treat yourself to a professional massage therapy and nutrition advice in a safe and relaxed atmosphere. Rejuvenate your body, mind, and soul at Nature's Touch Therapy. For an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 1-868-398-8282 or visit our Facebook page. Remember, your health is our responsibility at Nature's Touch.